Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, coming to you 6 days a week as we interview whitetail experts and hear their traditions and personal stories of the hunt. Learn more about the latest gear, discover proven tips, and the latest strategies so you can make your next hunt a success. Now, here's your host, Bruce Hutchin.
On behalf of Whitetail Rendezvous, this is your host, Bruce Hutchin, and I want to say thank you to everybody for making 2016 a banner year. Why? Because we went over 100,000 iTunes downloads. Why? Because we had over 300 guests on the show. And talking about the show, sometimes my guests are in a tree stand, sitting in a pickup truck on the top of a hill, or just don't have great bandwidth to pick up the recording. So I apologize for that. We're doing the best we can, but this is a real show with real people in real places. This is Whitetail Rendezvous Podcast, episode number 315. Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. This is your host, and welcome to 2017. Today we're heading down to Kentucky, and we're going to connect with Todd Big Red Duff. Todd is actually in the field right now. He has a client hunting elk, and they're taking a break, and he's going to share some insights about hunting the Appalachian hills of eastern Kentucky, and he's going to talk about the Treezyn tribe and Treezyn Camo, and it's a camo pattern that's taking over the country by storm, and they've just done a great job. Cobb Sanders has done a great job of bringing out a brand new product into the industry. So listen up. You're going to hear some elk bugles possibly, and it's going to be a fun show talking about whitetails in eastern Kentucky with Big Red Duff. Hey, listeners, don't forget to text 33444 Food Plot for your free Food Plot ebook. Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. And it's the Friday before Christmas. You're going to hear this sometime in January, but Merry Christmas to you anyway. And I got Todd Duff on the phone here, and he's actually elk hunting in eastern Kentucky right now. So Todd has also Changing Seasons on TV. He's part of the Treezyn tribe. Todd, you're all over the place, man. Welcome to the show.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on here today. It is an absolute honor. Well, I'm telling you, I've heard some of your podcasts and got to see some of the other crew members get on here with you, and now Big Red is on here. We're out here chasing elk around, and hey, well, we had to take a break for a few minutes anyways. I was walking my hunter. He's panting on me a little bit, so we had to take a break. So it worked out just right. But hey, it's an absolute honor to be on here, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, if he's panting there, he should come out to the 10,000, 14,000 foot mountains where elk like to hang out. And I was sheep hunting this year, this summer in August, and I had elk up over 12,000 feet. Lots of elk.
Oh, I'll tell you, once you get up there, boy, you start losing some oxygen, that's for sure.
Dang sure. Oh man, so you're outfitting there. So the guy pulled the state tag, and your guy. Yep. For low gap, is that your outfitting business, low gap?
Yes, sir. That's it. It was actually something that me and one of my baseball players, our former baseball teammates from Alice Floyd College, come up together. We was out and we was playing baseball, and I had a few places to go hunt, and everybody started asking us to be like, "Man, you got a place to hunt?" And we was like, "Yeah, we know. I know a place." So we started taking people, everybody on the baseball team, and before I knew it, everybody was like, "Hey, we heard you had a place to go hunt." We had some success stories, and before we knew it, we was taking the whole campus out, and we started a business. And we just kept growing with it. And, we've got these elk here in eastern Kentucky, and it was just one thing right after another. We started guiding for the elk, finding new property, and getting in there and really learning how to hunt the elk and taking the people. And, now we're going into our 8th season actually guiding, and we're one of the top outfitters here in Kentucky for elk. And I love it. I'm like I said, we're out doing it right now.
Well, and for the folks that might not know what low gap means, why don't you tell them what it means?
Yeah, low gap outfitters originated. We started thinking of names, and we come up with something. And I was like, the animals on these ridges, there's always like a low saddle, or like I said, some people call it a low gap or a saddle. And I was like, all the animals usually cross in one of those saddles or low gaps. So it's just something that I always set up whenever I'm deer hunting or turkey hunting or whatever. You go and set in these little saddles or low gaps, and that's where the name comes from.
And thanks for that. And people out west where I hunt, we just call them saddles, and I love hunting saddles, whether it's for sheep or goats or anything, because the critters like to follow the topography. That's the easiest way to get from here to there, and saddles are it. So if you ever hunt out west, folks, for big game, find your saddle and find your trails and make sure you got good sign on it, and hang out there. You'd be surprised what you're going to see. So let's talk about how you hunt elk in Kentucky. I know, you hunt whitetails, obviously, but since you're right there on the ground, how you hunt them today?
We're on these reclaimed strip mines here in eastern Kentucky, and a lot of people know about our coal mining and our coal mining industry. Once the coal mines come in and they do these strip mines, they're redesigning and redoing the contours and the hills here in Kentucky. And once they get on these ridges and they go back and they'll reseed them, they'll put all these grasses and everything back, which makes it great for elk because elk are primarily grazers. So it was just a perfect idea for the Department of Fish and Wildlife to come in and reintroduce the elk that we have now here in Kentucky, because it's just the contour and the mining and the land is just primarily an ideal for these elk. So we're bouncing around and we're hitting all these little points and all these holler fields that are starting to grow up, and they've got a lot of honeysuckle vines and they've got a lot of pines for bedding, and we're going and walking these contours and walking out on these points and making some calls and getting some response, and then we're stalking in on them. Cow, he's actually got a cow archery tag, so it's a little bit tougher to sneak in on the cows because you got a lot more eyes watching on you. So you've got to really pay attention to how they're approaching you and the trails that they're using and set up on them as you start spotting them and seeing them and getting a response from them. And I also call, you can also call to these cows, and these cows will respond to it because they're such a social animal, and a lot of people don't realize that they can actually call for the cows along with the bulls whenever the bulls are rutting.
Something like that?
Oh yeah. I think we should take this recording. We'll just cut that out there so we can use it.
Oh yeah, it's I've enjoyed hunting elk, and I was telling you in the warm up that way back when Elk Foundation was getting going, I talked to Dwight Shue, and he and Larry Jones, and they were pretty good at hunting elk, and bought Larry's book. And I was living in Wisconsin that time, and we jumped in the truck and headed to Colorado, and up in the White River National Forest. And I did what Dwight Shue did, and I finally got really close. I smelled the bull, and he got up, and I shot right underneath him, and that was a long time ago. But I've been hunting elk ever since, and been blessed to hunt a number of states and stuff like that. But I always remember what somebody told me. They said whitetail hunters make the best elk hunters because we're patient. We don't look for sign, and the only thing is, you and I were talking about, Todd, is all of a sudden you got 5 square miles, you don't have a 40.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. You've got to cover a lot more ground because these elk, boy, they can sure get out through there, and they've got. You would think such a big animal wouldn't be able to hide from you, but man, I tell you what, they'll flat get with it and get out of sight pretty quick.
So you're spotting stalking. Are you using long glass or just binoculars from points and stuff? Or tell me how you're getting on them.
Yeah, we're actually slipping through and getting on the edges of these fields that are growing up And what I'm doing is I'm walking out of these points, and then I'll just slip out to the edge and glass down the points, because these elk like to bed off of these points, right close to these field edges where they're going to be coming up in the evenings and coming from in the mornings. And they'll get in there and bed on these points and all these little logging roads. So just slip around these edges, glassing the ridge lines and down the points. And if I don't see anything, then I'll make a few calls and see if I can get a response out of them. And then if not, we'll just walk on around to another point where it goes into another deep hollow or up another ridge and do the same thing.
So tell me how you learn to hunt elk from whitetails, or learning how to hunt whitetails better from elk. How does that work?
Well, one thing that I've learned, a lot of times your whitetail, you're finding these field edges because, of course, these deer like to come out in the fields and eat these grasses and everything as well. So you're walking these field edges and you're finding these paths, and these elk and deer use a lot of the same paths. So while you're walking through there, every time I walk through a place, a path that an elk or deer are on, I'm always looking for different spots to put tree stands, or how I would hunt these points. And most of the time, it comes out. You'll notice that your deer and your elk and all this are using the places that you're looking for, like come up these ridges or around these logging roads. So while elk hunting is more spot and stalking, it's taught me to just take your time, be patient, watch your signs, as far as like if they're fresh signs or if they're old signs. Look for the grass still down in the footprint, or how fresh the scat is when you're coming through there, how these elk are using these contours to move around, and the whitetail uses the same one. So they go together, but the elk are more social, so they tend to be in bigger herds, while your whitetail are spread out into smaller spots and smaller numbers.
So what I hear you saying is, at least right where you are now, that the elk and the whitetails really don't compete. They kind of use the same trails, same terrain, and the same bedding areas and feeding areas. Is that pretty much right?
Yeah. Just earlier today, I was slipping around on these pine flats. There's a bunch of pines, and I was slipping through there on a trail, which there was elk and deer, both tracks in it. And I pulled over to the edge, which they weren't bedded close, like right next to each other, but I looked over the hill, and there was a logging road, and I spotted a couple of does bedded off of the edge, and walked on around and found where there was about 3 different bull beddings, where there were some bulls that were bedded there. So I know that they were bedded, within 100 yards of each other.
Yeah, that's something I've never hunted in Kentucky, and I look forward to time to do that. Can out-of-state people draw that elk tag?
Yeah, the guy I've actually got with me today, he's from Alabama, and only 10% of the tags actually come from out of state for the elk here in Kentucky. So it's definitely something that people can be drawn for. You can start putting in for it. Look, I think right around February, on the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife's website, and it's only $10 per entry. And there's 4 different entries that you can put in for. There's cow archery, bull archery, cow rifle, and bull rifle, and it's $10 per entry, and you can put in for all 4 if you want. So with $40, putting in, taking a chance on, hunting some of these beautiful elk here in these mountains.
Now, once you get drawn, how much is the tag?
Out of state, I think it's $400 for the elk tags. in-state, I think, is up around 100 now for the tag.
Right. Well, that's interesting. We'll have to talk about that. Hey, where did your hunting tradition come from, Todd?
Whenever I was growing up, my grandfather, my mom's father, was the one that actually took me and showed me how to start hunting, and we started squirrel hunting. And he would always, he was real strict about how you walked in the leaves and how you moved and just being real slow. And he taught me a lot about, just being aware of your surroundings, always take your time, go, watch around you, and just be quiet, slipping through there. And we killed a lot of squirrels, but it taught me a whole lot about, the approach to these animals, because you're in their home. These animals know what their surroundings are, so you have to really be cautious about how you're slipping through these woods, because they're gonna know, because like I said, you're in their backyard.
Yeah, we always say we slip into an elk's bedroom, and we really literally do, because if you get into his core area, not unlike a dominant whitetail buck, I mean, that he's right there, and he could be laying 20 yards away just looking at you. And it's the same thing with elk. You get in their core area and you see the rubs and the wallows, and you can smell them, and they may not be there at that second, but you're right, literally in their bedroom. And that's, sometimes people kind of blow that up and try to push that area. The best way I know, once you find that, get the wind right and back out and see what happens.
Yep. You got to be right there. Once you start getting once everything pulls together, all the right signs like you're talking about, you're seeing some of these beddings, you're seeing rubs, you're seeing some of these, some of the scats looking fresh, then you know that you're there. So you really got to take your time, get the wind right, and just set up on them, because they're going to be in there.
No, what's the biggest lesson he shared with you when you were hunting?
It's just be patient. That's the biggest thing that, he showed you. You've got to be patient whenever you're hunting, because it's not going to happen on your time. It's not going to happen when you expect it. So you always have to just be aware of your surroundings, be patient, and no matter what, enjoy your time while you're out there, because that's one thing that, time flies. So, enjoy every moment that you're out there. And that's what drove my passion for the outdoors, is because I'm here, it's just me and these animals in the woods, and you're trying to, it's like a chess game. You're trying to get around and outwit them in their back home, in their backyards. And by being patient and being persistent, the outcome is, no matter what, it's going to be great.
Hey, what's this Treezyn Camo thing? What's up with that?
Oh, boy, I'll tell you what, these guys come up with this camo. Man, I'm telling you what, they're making a big impact in the outdoor industry, and I am honored to be a part of it and be representing John Sanders with Treezyn. This camo, I'm telling you, of all the times, before I started getting to actually wear some of the camo and stuff while I'm out here in the woods, I would notice that I would get, I could get picked up by these animals a lot quicker. And I'm not just saying that because, I represent Treezyn. I'm saying that because it's true, and I've seen it firsthand, because I've taken, I don't know how many hundreds of elk that I've killed, with my guide service, taking people out. And the difference in this Treezyn is, it's a big player out here hunting. It blends, it breaks you up. And like I said, like earlier, I went live on my Facebook page, and I had a spike bull walk 15 yards of me, and I was standing there holding my phone, and I was wearing Treezyn. I had my face mask and everything on, and this spike bull walked 15 yards of me, was looking right dead at me, and I was holding my phone up, video and all this, and he just turns, like nothing was standing there. He just turns and just kind of walks the other direction. And that just really sets home that how well this camouflage breaks up you as an individual and blends in with your surroundings. And that's where, our logo comes from. Don't just blend, you become your surroundings.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've been fortunate enough to talk to Cobb, Tina, and Joe Willis, Mike Pierce, Matt Murphy, on and on and on, and yourself. And the thing I like about Treezyn, I wore it out west when I was sheep hunting, and that was all well and good. I didn't hunt other than that this fall because I tore my shoulder and had to have surgery, so I couldn't go whitetail hunting. And I'm looking forward to possibly turkey hunting with it. And the thing I liked about it stood the abuse of the Rocky Mountains for 22 days. And I'm talking snow, rain, sleet, hail, thunder, lightning, and hot temperatures. And all in all, I had enough, gear on that I was comfortable no matter what the weather was doing. And that's the thing that I was most impressed with. I don't know if the sheep cared or not because I never got, the closest I got was like 500 yards. I was hunting with my bow. And anyway, but having said that, Treezyn is a special company because of the people. And talk about the people that you met.
I've met, everybody that's involved with Treezyn. I've had the honor to, of course, John is right here in my backyard. I mean, we're a couple hours apart, so I get the opportunity to go up and sit with the founder, John Sanders, a whole lot. And our vice president, Matt Mitchell, is just down the road as well. So my opportunity to be able to be with the core group and to be representing them is phenomenal. And with Mike Pierce and Joe Willis and our facilitator, Tina Kane, and our pro staffer, Doug DeHarpett, Matt Moore, I can go on. And our production team, with Cody Nixon, and then we got Brad Thomas on board with our graphics design. I mean, the whole core group, as far as being, a group, I call it our family because everybody is so close and we talk with one another and we want to see this camo be the number one name in the industry. That's what we want to do because we love it, we believe in it, and we know it's going to do well. And we're going to, we're getting there. The name is getting out there. There's a lot of buzz about it, and we're just excited to be a part of something so great.
Yeah, and I'm just, every time I have one of you guys on from the show, it just solidifies with me that these are the type of people that are going to make it happen one way or another. They're dedicated, they're smart, and they're picking guys like you to represent them that, feet on the ground, heck, you had a bull elk 15 yards from me and kind of looked at you and going, what the heck's that? Obviously he didn't smell you. But he didn't really care, and he sauntered in and he sauntered off, and that's saying a lot. And so, listeners, if you haven't tried it, go to www.treezyn.com and check it out. It's all over Facebook and social media. So check it out and meet the people. The product is what it is there, but the people make it a great company as far as this guy's concerned.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a family. We love every bit of it. And anybody that's got any questions whatsoever, feel free to hit us up on Facebook, any of the pro staff members. We can always look us up and, go to the website. And it's like you were saying, it's Treezyn.com, and it's TREEZYN.com. Come check us out, say hi. And we've got an awesome fall special going on right now. It's something you don't want to miss out on. You can get a full suit for under around $200, and you can't find that anywhere.
So let's talk about what you're doing with Changing Season TV. Explain what that's all about.
Man, I'm telling you, Changing Seasons. Boy, I've been always fascinated with the outdoor industry and these hunting and fishing shows. And of course, my papa, as we was talking earlier, gave me the inspiration and the drive drive and passion for the outdoors. And then I started watching their local show here. It's called KY Afield. And the host on there, Tim Farmer, was in an incident, and he lost use of his arm. So he done everything with one arm, hunting, fishing, shooting a bow, everything was one arm. And it showed me with persistence and determination, you can accomplish anything that you want. So that gave me the drive and the know how to get there. So I started just pushing from taking these people out, guiding them. I bought my camera equipment and just kept after it because it was something I always wanted to do. And I've got to the point, I was putting it on our local station. I had 5 shows on there, formed my little production team there, and there was people filming for me. And then we stepped up to Hunt Channel TV, and I've been on there a couple of seasons now. And I'm just honored. Now we've got some big news coming up that we'll be signing a great contract here in the near future, and we'll announce that when the time is right. But all things are great, positive feed. I've got a lot of good followers. A lot of people's excited about the show. My Facebook Lives are doing really well. A lot of people like to follow it. So we get a good interaction between us and our viewers. So I'm just honored to be able to host a show that was something that I love doing with hunting and fishing and the outdoors. And the people and the support that I have, I couldn't ask for anything better. So I'm just excited to see this adventure and go farther and keep growing.
Now, are you just going to have elk shows and whitetails, or what other critters are you going to hunt?
Oh, we're going to go everything. I've killed an aoudad in Texas. We've chasing boars around. We're going to Louisiana in February chasing hogs around. We'll have turkeys. We'll have whitetail. We'll have elk. We'll have bear on there. And we'll be doing some fishing shows and stuff too. I've got some really good friends of mine that actually fishes FLW. So we've had the chance and honor to fish with those guys and share a little bit of their knowledge about professionally fishing. And it's just going to be a well-rounded show, and we get to show off how Treezyn has helped us be successful, and just the memories that we've made from it.
Well, that sounds exciting. I can't wait to connect with you guys down at ATA just in a couple of weeks. That's going to be fun because I'm finally going to meet all the people from Treezyn that I've been talking on the phone with or had them on the show. So that is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. Todd, we're at the time of the show. You got a couple of minutes to give some shout outs, and then we're going to wrap the show.
Oh, absolutely. And again, I'm honored to be on here, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I want to, give a big shout out to Treezyn, John Sanders, and Tina, and Matt Mitchell, and all the other pro staff guys. Appreciate, the family that we've created through this and the opportunity that we've got to come together. And some of my other great sponsors, I'm with Sheffield Financial, with Jack Snow. That man is an absolute honor to work for and to represent, and I couldn't thank him enough for everything that he's done, and to be honored and representing such a great company. And all my other sponsors, we've teamed up with Whitetail Heaven Outfitters in Nicholasville, Kentucky. He's got three lodges.
Tina?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's my that's my boy right there. Now I'm telling you, he's a good time, man. He's very professional. He's got some tremendous whitetail hunting. I've been up doing some guiding for him, and just an honor to be able to represent him and his company with the show, as well as Whitetail Seduction, Deer Mineral, and they go hand in hand together with Tevis. And Also, those guys with Apex Custom Hunting Blinds, Jeremy Eldridge, he's from out of Missouri. He builds custom hunting blinds. He does a tremendous job. And, if you don't want to be out in the elements and sit back and enjoy some whitetail hunting and some comfort, you need to check them out. And I can, definitely go on. And I've actually got a good friend of mine. His name's Jason Lowry with the meat shop over in Lancaster, Kentucky. Boy, he does all, he works all the meat and everything up. And we've got a jerky that we're teaming up together, and we'll be coming out hitting the stores. It's called Four Seasons Jerky. So, be on the lookout for it. And like I said, we've got some really good people behind us. We've got Ozonics got our back. We've got Kim Follett was the original scope enhancer, Bert Coyote Luminox, and on and on. Like I said, it's just an honor to represent all the companies that I get to, and I'm looking forward to another great year with changing seasons and see what 2017 can bring us.
No, I said Tevis, but that isn't how you say Tevis McCauley's name, right? Tevis?
Yeah, Tevis. Yep, Tevis McCauley.
Well, Tevis, I apologize, sir. And I can't wait to come and hunt your ground. I just can't wait to hunt the 3-state or trifecta or wherever.
Oh yeah, you got to do the Triple Crown, brother.
Yes,
we got to do the Triple Crown, yes sir.
I'll buy the Royal Crown if I got 150 on the Triple Crown. I'll be buying the Royal Crown.
There you go. We'll be up. He'll be up at the ATA, so you'll have to give him a shout and holler at him whenever we're up there. And I'll be up there hunting with him next week, actually. So I'm going to be trying to do some live videos and all that stuff from there.
He's on the list, and it's like anything else. I gotta take care of the home, and we're coming into our first solid year, over 100,000 downloads. So we're getting close to finding some sponsors to help us do the things that we want to do. We got a lot of good plans here at Whitetail Rendezvous. So I'm rattling on. Hey, Merry Christmas to you, Todd Duff, and your crew, and just thank you so much for taking your time and sitting in the truck in elk country there in Kentucky to be with us and share some thoughts with thousands and thousands of people across North America who listen to the show on a daily basis.
Oh, absolutely. It was an honor to be on here. I appreciate you and the people that's tuned in and listened. Whitetail Rendezvous is an awesome podcast. Everybody needs to download it, tune in each day that you have a different person on here, because it's always a wealth of knowledge. And I just want to let everybody know, no matter what your situation is in life, be determined, be persistent, and you'll become successful in the end. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Tune in to Changing Seasons on Facebook, and also check me out, Todd Duff. You can add me as a friend and come over and tell me you listen to the podcast and say hi, and we'll share some stories together. And I appreciate the opportunity to be on here.
Listening to the next edition of Whitetail Rendezvous. We got a great show coming up. We got Robbie Nickman. Now, Robbie is the owner of The Mix, and Robbie makes some mix popsicles that the deer just love. We put them out on the farm, and the deer came in and just licked them just like you would lick a popsicle, right down to the string that holds them. It's a great product, but more important than that, Robbie's building a business. He started over a year ago. Early on, he was on the show, and Robbie's doing a great job bringing product to the market that works. Stay tuned. It's going to be a fun show.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.